Hello everybody, welcome once again to Vivid Collectibles. My name is Danny, and tonight I'm going to be giving you my thoughts and review of Sideshow's latest Red Sonja Premium Format figure. This one's titled A Savage Sword. This is, I believe, their fourth Red Sonja, and they've all been received pretty well, and they're all pretty tough to find, and they go for over initial retail. So she's a popular character. Sideshow knows that. So here we have another one. And this one, edition size is 2000, which is actually pretty high by Sideshow's new standards. They've been cutting back on that a little bit. And this one was popular enough where they went ahead and made 2,000 of them. This one is designed by Richard Luong, sculpted by Steve Lord, painted by Chaz Zima, their in-house painter, and designed by the rest of the Sideshow development team. This statue turned out really good. There are some things that I think could have been better, but we'll get into that when I get into the review. This was announced, like 8 months ago, and Sideshow's been doing a good job of getting things out on time, and I ordered it immediately. Even though I have the 1/3 by Prime 1 over there, I still liked it enough to order this quarter scale because it's different enough, and she's in motion, and I like a lot of things about this. So she measures 22.5 inches tall. She's about 16 inches wide and 18 inches deep. Although the bottom of the base is not quite as big. Maybe it's, 12 inches. So you need a little bit of a footprint, but it's not terrible. She's perfectly balanced. The way they made her, Sideshow tends to engineer these very well. So there's really no fear of leaning. But without much further ado, I'm going to get up close and give you my thoughts on the overall piece. Alright, so what we have here is a bloody base representing all the victims that she's just taken out. So these are all the victims she's left in her wake. And it is red, like a nice glossy red, with different shades of it to differentiate it. But if you look close enough, you'll see some of the victims there. You see a helmeted figure there, right? You can see what looks like to be a nose there. And these are sprinkled throughout the base. You'll see what looks to be rib cages, like right around there. Right? And there's, faces and hands, like the hand grabbing her leg, holding on for dear life. Another helmet back there. So they put a lot into the base, but it is red, so you're gonna have to kind of look for it. But there's another skull in the back of it, underneath it. So it's filled with bones, skulls, and tortured souls that she's left in her wake. Now, as far as assembly of this piece, it really wasn't a lot to do. She comes intact except for her portrait, her two hands, obviously the one holding the sword, and then she keys in right here with this massive key. There is a seam that you'll notice right there, but you're only noticing it if you're looking for it, because it otherwise blends in with the rest of the stuff going on in the base, including the way that it swirls with it. So it's kind of tough to see that seam. Obviously, if you look for it, you will find it. Here's another hand right here in the front of the base. And then we have another hand, like I mentioned earlier, grabbing onto her leg. So I like the base quite a bit. It tells a great story, and it really complements the overall flow of the statue. Well, now we're going to move up to her body, and let's start at the very bottom. So the hand grabbing her boots, you can see the bottom of the boots. Now she's a medieval character. Obviously she's fictional. So everything is old school. Old leather, right? You have old fur, and then you have all these little leather strings to keep the boots together. The boots are done nicely. There is some blood on them right here. All right, there's blood everywhere, at least hints of it. Blood on the fur. So the boots are done, pretty well. Nothing spectacular, but it's kind of what you expect, right? The fur, again, done well. Nothing to write home about. The skin tones are really nice. They're very soft, and there's enough shading in there to differentiate. She does have blood splatter throughout, and then you have these bandages. The bandages look nice, if you can get it to focus. And I like how they're pressing against the body. That looks good. Alright, let's go to the other leg. There's more detail here. Right, so here you have the blood all over that boot. And that looks like some sort of leather wrap around the boot. Again, standard leather, good treads. Not bad, not great. Again, same here. You have some of that fur. Looks good. But the cloth bandages, I will say, look amazing. That looks really, really good. You can see all the separation, and then it's nicely painted. It's frayed. It looks frayed, so they did a great job of capturing that. And it's bloody enough, right? There's blood throughout. Let's move up the leg. You have what seems to be a knife holder, right? Nice metal plaque here with nice detail on that. A little blood on that as well. You have all these little leather strings throughout. And then good detail on the knife itself. The knife does get keyed in there. It's got some fragile parts right here, but look at that nice stitching right there on that pouch that holds the knife. And it's even got a little skull at the end of the knife, so that looks good. Now as for her basically armored bikini, they went with a more like dark gray on the scales of the chainmail. And they look good. There's enough separation there. They look weathered. And then of course you see the leather, and it looks tattered and it looks worn. The belt right here looks really good. The leather looks authentic. Then you have the metal buckle at the end. That looks good. Good details. The little pouch looks good. And again, more of that. And you have some old metal rings here to hold that bikini together. That looks good. Again, good paint work. This is never going to be a straight line, not because of the paint, but because by design, it's old leather. It's going to look uneven anyways. So that's the way it looks. The back of the bikini, and yes, her body's spectacular. They sculpted it immaculately. Nice muscle tone, good definition, but she's definitely very feminine. There you go, just to give you a better look. Big thighs, she's athletic, and she has rounded buns. All right, even the belly button, good detail there. And you can see where, right here, where the, in the stomach, right, where the ribs would be, there's enough separation and shading so you can see the difference, right? Sculpted in there, good shading. She doesn't have like a six-pack. She looks, you know, I mean, she's obviously in good shape, but it's not exaggerated. It looks believable. Again, some of that shading, some blood splatter, again, throughout. There's blood everywhere. And then let's continue to move up. She is rather busty, but it looks good. It's not overdone. And under there, right, nice sculpted, good separation. Nice chainmail work. Again, this is a little bit darker than Prime 1's. Prime 1 went with a lighter silver. That's a design choice, but they both look good. And then you have her half cape, if you will. This is all fur. Looks good. Nothing spectacular, but it does the job. Right there. And then her shoulder pauldrons look really good. There's nice detail here. I like the metal, and I like the red accents in there. They really add to the piece. And again, more of that cloth bandage. It looks great. Bloodied, tattered. It looks very real. Her gloves, very good stitch work there. Good leather. Looks great. Looks phenomenal. Really looks good. Alright, some more. Now, the right hand holding the sword. Again, some of the bandage work right there. Very good. Same thing with the leather. Looks good. Now the hilt on the sword. It's got a nice design. See if I can focus in on that. I'm having a hard time right now. Okay, focus a little bit. It looks like almost like a dragon. Yep, two dragons. Just the hilt of the sword looks good. Nice added detail. See if I can get you the rest of the sword. Again, nice designs on the sword. Metal looks like it's kind of like just like a dark metal Obviously, it's been in battle. And then the blood trail. So the sword looks good. Not spectacular, but it does the job. It looks good. The leather wrapping on the handle looks good as well. Back up a little, excuse me, with the camera. And then the blood trail continues. And then obviously it's just so that it flows well. It's right there. Alright, now we're going to get into her portrait. And the portrait's nice. It has a great, very fierce look to her. There's a nice expression on there. Sideshow does a great job with female portraits and the female anatomy. This is no exception. You have nice freckles right there on the face. The eyes are done okay. I wish they added some sort of gloss to them to give it a little more realism. They look okay. They could have been better. The mouth, same thing. Good details, good teeth separation, but the teeth could have used a little bit of gloss to give it that enamel look. Sideshow's gotten better with that, so I was hoping that this statue they did it better. It's not bad. It looks good, but it could have been better. And then the same thing with the hair. The hair's good. It's got enough strand separation. It looks good. I wish it had gone a little brighter red. This almost looks more like an almond, but it looks good. And obviously that's what they were going for. Nice flow, good separation. Her earrings look good. You know, the tongue looks good. The nose looks good. She looks great. She's beautiful, fierce, but still feminine. So I like that they were able to capture all that into this piece. So I'm going to just back away, give you one more look at a different angle, right? And there you go. Looks great from there, right? That's like the money shot, but you can't see the portrait. Let's go with, you know, if you want to see a back shot, which you never really will. But that looks good. I mean, it looks great from every angle. It's so dynamic. That's the best part about this piece, right? It doesn't really have a bad angle. There you go. And then let's go with this 3/4 front, and that looks good as well. So my final thoughts, I think this statue, the whole is better than some of its parts because of the pose, the base, the way she looks, right? Overall, it's a really killer statue. But there are some things, like I mentioned, that could have been better. I think the portrait, like I mentioned, the eyes could have been done better. The mouth should have had a little gloss on it. Maybe better separation, you know, of all of the details. It could have used some of that. And some people have liked it to be bloodier. I get it. Maybe the body could have used a little more blood. There's no blood on the portrait at all. And like once you go, you know, there's blood there. There's blood, but it seems to be very subtle. Obviously that was by design, but I think it could have used a little more blood since that is the theme of this statue overall. Let me know what you think in the comments. I appreciate you guys watching. Till next time.